made. Friends and laughter, family and food. All the things that I like to do. Watch a movie, hear my tunes. All my favorite things to put me in the mood. I'm thankful. I'm thankful. I'm thankful for you.
Hello, welcome to another episode with Searching for Goodness. Today we have beautiful Cherry. She's a Grammy Award nominee, artist, and I'd like you to go ahead and introduce yourself to our audience first.
Hello, I am Cherry Moon, and I am an artist, musical artist, songwriter, and actress. I'm from Memphis, Tennessee originally. I'm a Southern girl, and now I live in Los Angeles.
And tell us a little bit about your music. What have you done? What are you working on? And probably Cherry Moon is not your real name, is it? Why did you choose that stage name?
Well, Cherry came about because my nickname it was Cherokee in high school. So my grandfather is part Cherokee Indian, and I used to wear all these feathers in my hair, and my mom used to braid my hair all the time. So people just started calling me, I just adapted Cherokee as a nickname. And then when I moved to New York, my nickname was Cherokee. People called me Cherokee, but then people started thinking that Cherokee was my real name, so then they called me Cherry for short. So I got a nickname out of a nickname, which is kind of funny.
Fair enough. And the moon?
Moon, I wanted to, as an artist, I really love Cherry, so I kind of just took that on rather than Cherokee. And I wanted something that was interesting at the end. So at first I thought, I went with Cherry London. But that was because I always wanted to move to London, and I love the British culture and all that stuff. But I dropped London and ended up with Moon because I just embraced. I have a funny story about my face and being made fun of as a kid when I was in elementary. The kids used to make fun of me so much because I have a long face and a long chin, and they used to call me Moon. And they used to call me either Chin or Moon, and it was so funny because McDonald's had this commercial where this dancing moon in a tuxedo used to dance around on a commercial, and they used to sing the commercial to make fun of me when I walked into a room. So, as a kid, that was kind of hurtful, whatever, but I just rolled with the punches or whatever. But, what I did is I just accepted, I took something that was hurtful from my childhood and added it onto, my name, because I felt like, I do have a long face. I have, and it is kind of shaped like a moon. Why not embrace it? So that's kind of where Moon came from.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love the story. Yeah. It reminds me of two things. Smashing Pumpkins, if you know that band, they had a song called Tonight Tonight. And it's inspired by this old French film, Trip to the Moon. It's called, you should check out Trip to the Moon. The moon has a face. And they got inspired by making a music video with it and moon faces or anything. Now I'm thinking, if we do something like a moon face, we should put your face in it. And a little cherry on top.
That's funny.
That would be nice.
Well, you know what? I'm at a point in my life where nothing really bothers me so much like that anymore. So
that's great. And another thing, it reminded me, one of my favorite bands, Garbage. I don't know if you heard Garbage.
I don't.
Shirley Manson. They had this famous song called Milk. They were really
I might know it.
She's like a rock star.
Okay.
When I was growing up, they were pretty popular, and somebody listened to their music and they said, "This is garbage." They didn't like the garbage. They embraced it, and their name is Garbage.
Right.
And they got really successful.
That's what you have to do. You just have to embrace these things and use it to your advantage. So, so now when you see me and I'm in pictures, I'm always sticking my chin out. I use it. You use it.
And if you'd like to tell us a little bit what you're up to these days, what are you working on, any current projects?
Yeah, so I'm actually working on a lot of new music right now. Some of you may know I am also a children's artist as well. I write music for children.
Oh, wonderful.
And I make content for children, all of it based around mindfulness and and life lessons and things like that. So I'm working on another Snook Nook album. Snook Nook is the name of my children's brand that I created.
Okay.
So I'm working on another Snook Nook album. This will be the third album. So I'm really excited about this because I'm collaborating with some amazing artists on this project. There's a lot of people don't know about the children's genre. And just in the last 6 years for me has been revolutionary in learning about so many different artists in this space, in the children's and the family music space. But and people think that, it's just like generic, music for kids. And it's really not. There are real, authentic musicians and artists that are writing amazing content and music for children. So I just want to give a shout out to all those artists that are actually taking their talent and using it for good, because it is for good. A lot of them are creating all these amazing messages and teaching kids at the same time. So, and that is kind of what my brand is about, is about creating, I call it edutainment, because it's entertaining, but it teaches them about life lessons and mindfulness and basic hygiene, So anyway, I'm working on the third album, which I'm super excited about. And then simultaneously, I'm working on some more Cherry Moon music. I'm working on some more dance tunes to get you guys moving in the clubs and wherever you may be in your house. And I'm working with some amazing producers with that as well. I'm just writing. The thing is that I go through different phases where you could be writing every day, and that's where I am right now, which I'm so grateful for, because it doesn't always come that easy. Sometimes I go through spells where there's like months where I'm not really coming up with anything, and I know a lot of artists can relate to that. So right now I'm actually really happy that it is kind of flowing, and I'm in the studio probably about 4 times a week, which is great, and I'm just writing and turning out ideas, which is really cool. I'm not saying that they're all hits, but there's some really good stuff and some really cool stuff coming. So
what's some of your most favorite popular songs that people can check out?
So the most popular ones, well, the latest releases, I would have to say, are probably the most popular ones right now. House Arrest.
House arrest, I'm guilty. Put me under house arrest, I'm guilty. Put me under house arrest.
Which actually I released a couple of years ago. It's so funny because I released it in Europe quite a few years ago, and it charted all around Europe. It did really well there, and then I just never released it in the US. And so I just released it during the pandemic, and now it's doing really well here in the US, which is crazy.
Got me in a trance, taking over me. Got this club on high alert. On the loose, haven't you heard? This place has got us off the hook, so you better work. I have the right to stay on the dance floor. Losing my mind, can you spin me one more?
And it's amazing that can actually happen, right? Like you can work on something and it can have an initial life, and then you can turn around and introduce it to another market, and then it takes on another life. So I'm really grateful for that. And then my Ships in the Night, which was my very last one that I did the tribute to Tina Turner, the late Tina Turner, who was like one of my idols of all time. I'm from Tennessee, so I'm close to where she's from, and I've always idolized her since I was a kid. And I just always loved her voice. I always loved her story. And I know she had such a tragic start. But people push through, right? And I love, how she just kept going to become who she was always meant to be, and which was really inspiring and inspirational for me as a female artist and just as a woman in general. So she for that reason, she's probably one of my most favorite female artists of all time. So my Madame Max video that I did for Ships in the Night, my newest release, was dedicated to her. And I really channeled the look of what she did in the Mad Max movie where she was with Mel Gibson. And the story kind of, lines up a little bit, except for I made it more relevant to what we were going through with the pandemic and it kind of being a apocalyptic time where, there was nothing really happening, but we were stripped, the women in this land was stripped of being fertile, basically. Right. So there was only one woman in my story who could have a child. And so basically there were some goons in the story that came to take this one woman from our tribe because she was the only one that was fertile. And they wanted to take her and the child and do whatever they wanted with her. So in the video, me and my tribe are trying to get her back. We're trying to rescue her from these goons, which is really cool.
How come the fate's not on our side, determined to keep us in separate lives, just surviving, no memories. Life's a lonely place when you don't get what you need. Lengthy days run into my nights. All my tears, they have soaked up and dried. Maybe chances passed us by, like a watch with no hands.
So it was a really fun project. I got to meet so many amazing people, and I got to actually have a lot of my longtime friends that I've been friends with in the music industry and just in general in life. And they came out, we filmed in the desert and we just had such an amazing time. And I made new friends, like the girl who plays the only fertile woman is Johaira Michelle, and she's now one of my closest friends. And
nice.
We are now doing a lot of projects together. So it's always exciting when you're collaborating.
Definitely.
You never know what relationships will spawn from it.
Yeah, you're creating and through creation, making new friends.
Yeah.
That's really great. Our title is Searching for Goodness. I'd like to ask you, what do you think goodness is? How do you define goodness? And what do you do as a person, as an artist, to contribute to goodness? And what do you recommend people should be doing?
Well, goodness to me feels like you're kind of cultivating things around you and around the people that you're with, I would say probably empathy is probably the number one thing for me, is having empathy towards people. And just kind of doing the normal human things, right? Like just trying to create moments and good moments, doing things for others, going out of your way and being selfless. Like selfless is another thing, I feel like is goodness.
Opposite of selfishness.
Exactly, and being mindful, which is another one of my favorite words, and I use it with the kids a lot, because mindful goes a long way no matter where you are. Like I have conversations a lot with friends just about silly, just normal things, like what can you do when you're driving down the street and, there's cars doing all kinds of things. Everybody's in their own world and you never know what people are going through, right? In the middle of their day.
True.
So it's like, if someone honks their horn at you or screams at you from their car or whatever, it's like, a lot of people are so quick to just go in and, respond with negativity instead of just like, okay, maybe something is going on. I'm not saying that, they should be doing that, but it's like, why don't you take the upper road, right? And just, let it be.
Yeah.
So, I just feel like a lot of those moments where you kind of just like, I'm not saying to ignore what people do that may, feel like a lash out or a slap in the face or whatever. But I just feel like when you have moments that you can actually just choose to not respond with negativity.
Stay calm even.
Stay calm. Not and don't lead with negativity when you're doing stuff, you know?
Right.
Be mindful of people and their experiences, what their day has been like, what they might be going through in their lives, because you just never know. So all that stuff for me is very I'm very conscious about things like that. And I know it's a lot to think about when you're going through your day, but you know, I mean, if we can make it part of our lifestyle and just a part of our normal everyday way of thinking, then it just becomes a natural train of thought, right?
Definitely.
So I think for me that's goodness is how can, if I'm talking to you or something's going on and I hear something, how can I make it better? That's, for me, that's goodness. How can you make one moment that's not going so great into a better moment?
Right.
Whether it's for you or whether it's for somebody else, or what, you don't even have to know that person. It's just how can you make it better?
Beautiful. I agree with that. How can we make ourselves better? How can you make world better? I think that should be the real attitude. And the other thing is, everyone thinks like me and my close family, me and my friends, and everyone else is like strangers, whatever. But if everyone can be more aware of like we're all connected, like what happens here affects the other place, butterfly effect. People are like, what does this have anything to do with Antarctica, what you're doing? But everything happening, global warming.
Yeah. It all affects us. Absolutely.
Everything.
Yeah.
Everything's really affecting each other. The weather and energies.
Yeah. It's like a trickle-down effect, isn't it?
Definitely.
Life-giving creatures.
Our goal is eventually turn this into a feature film. And my first leg will be Antarctica. I want to go with my team to go to Antarctica and film a little documentary film over there.
Wow.
And then hopefully continue as a documentary series and see the rest of the continents. That's the big picture. Have you ever been there, or what are your thoughts of anything about Antarctica?
No, I've never been to Antarctica, and I don't think I've ever even met anyone who has, to be honest with you. And I've met a lot of people, but Antarctica seems like so, is it even real?
It is.
No, but I know, you know, I know it is a place. What I do know about it is that they did not have COVID there. They didn't have the pandemic.
You know what else they don't have? They don't have a government. They never had a war.
Oh.
There has been only one murder in the history of Antarctica.
Wow.
All these things I find very interesting. It's almost like a little utopia exists over there.
Wow.
Like people from all over the world go there for scientific research. I mean, it's really cold. It's hard living conditions and everything, but they coexist with each other and coexist with animals. So I'm like, there's something I want to go explore there.
Wow.
I find it
I know the thing is that isn't it endangered right now with climate change right now?
Constantly, I keep hearing the glaciers melting. And
there's like an ice shelf or something that is in danger of collapsing or something.
Right.
That, you know, I mean, wow. I mean, I don't want, if it's become what it is in the history of what you just said, do I want that to change? Not really. You know, so that's it's a kind of a bittersweet thing, but no one's ever seen it, I think, without all the ice. Right?
Yeah, and there's also a bunch of alien conspiracies too with Antarctica. There's another, like a whole world of that.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really interesting. No, I've never really dwelled on Antarctica at all, but now I'm kind of curious.
Measure yourself through your own eyes, for we were meant to lead in this life. We're the teachers, leaders, soul believers. We're the makers, motivators, life-giving creatures.
What are your thoughts on science and spirituality? Like where you stand scientifically and spiritually? How do you think they connect? Like some people are like science and spirituality, like two separate things. Whether you do your vaccines or you believe in God, whether you take medicine or pray. But I believe you can do both.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if they are separate. I mean, can you think about one without the other? I think you can think about science, yes, in a lot of different ways without incorporating in spirituality. But I feel like they do interconnect a lot. I mean, I feel like, of course, science is really about our environment.
Look at me. Look at my arm. I plowed and planted and gathered into bonds, and no man could head me. And ain't I a woman? And that man over there says that women need to be helped in the carriages and lifted over ditches and to have a best place everywhere. But no man ever helped me in the carriages or lifted me over mud puddles. And ain't I a woman?
What's your spirituality like?
Well, it's funny because I grew up as a Christian and in Memphis, Tennessee, and I was in church probably about 6 to 7 days a week.
Wow.
Because my grandparents were very much into church, so I spent pretty much my childhood in gospel choirs and going to different churches and all of that. As I got older and went to college and moved to New York, I mean, I still kept a lot of, I do believe in God. I believe in a wonderful universe and all of that stuff. I don't know if I really completely identify with being Christian. So I don't know if I really, at this point, will say that I am one denomination. A lot of the churches that I've attended as an adult has been kind of non-denominational.
This is my family. This is my family. This is my family.
So yes, I feel like I'm definitely very spiritual. I do my prayers. I teach my kids. We pray together a lot. So I try to keep a lot of that within my home and my family. But I also, for me, I don't like getting into debates and fights, if you will, about religion. Because I feel like a lot of it it ends up being just like a judgmental type of conversation or debate, and then you just end up judging each other. And I don't really like that so much. I feel like people should be allowed to feel the way they feel and practice whatever they want to practice, and as it relates to them and their family, you know what I'm saying? So I don't really like to do any of that. And
you mentioned the Cherokee thing. Is there anything spiritually from that culture? Not much?
No, not necessarily. I mean, my grandfather and my grandmother had a bit of Sioux Indian in her too. So I got a bit of Sioux and Cherokee. But obviously my grandfather had more of a percentage. But I try my best not to have regrets about where I came from, how I grew up, and this and that. And of course, there are things you go, oh, do I wish I had have experienced this? Yes, there are a lot of experiences I wish I could have had.
Right.
But am I ungrateful for the ones that I did have? No, not at all.
Don't you know, don't you know?
Your thoughts on environmental issues such as climate change, global warming. What do you know about it, and what do you think people should be doing to protect our world?
I think, I mean, I know that climate change is a huge issue, and it's so funny because we've been hearing about this for years and that it was going to come and it's just going to get worse and worse. But I think we're starting to feel the effects and see the effects of the world now, you know? So I feel like, you know, people should probably take more heed to what is to come and try to see how we can try to save our earth while we can. That's really what I think we should try and do. I mean, I know we get so caught up in our day-to-day lives and we have so much we're juggling, and, you know, especially if you have family and all of this stuff. I mean, boy, I can't tell you. I mean, there's not enough hours in a day to do all the things that I want to do or even need to do, you know, but I feel like putting our earth first is probably one of the priorities.
Yeah.
Because I mean, we won't have an earth if we don't pay attention to it and actually try to fix it and take care of it. So
Definitely.
I think it's a huge.
And I think there's
issue.
bigger things coming down by the governments and corporations,
Yeah.
making more environmental friendly choices. I think we should like support leaders
Yes.
who are going that direction, and we should put more pressure
Yeah.
in that sense. But also personally, should do whatever we can, like recycling,
Yes,
choosing more
absolutely.
environmental friendly products. I think those are some of the things we can.
Those are very important, and those are just tiny, small things that we can do. I mean, for me, that's why I'm such an advocate of really engaging our younger generation
Yes.
with these issues, because
Definitely.
they're the ones who are coming up in the world and who's going to take over the universe and all of this
Yes.
stuff. If they are taught at a young age about all of these things, you know, and if we can leave this information and teach them this, where it just becomes second nature for them, then, you know, we might have a chance at survival,
I do agree.
right?
And you're doing something for kids, so you
Yes.
can implement that. Mine first started when
Absolutely.
I was a kid. There was this little eco-friendly stickers.
Mm-hmm.
They were like really cute and funny. Like I started collecting them. That's how I started paying attention to this.
Yeah. So it's just tiny, small little things that, you know, they will remember if you just, you know, start when they're younger, because that's when their brain is just expanding and soaking up all of this stuff like a sponge, you know?
Right.
And it's easier for them to learn things as when they're younger. So I think, you know, that's probably the way to do it. I have to shout out my friend, my musical artist friend, Fuchs, who has a song that is really geared towards environmental things and garbage and all that stuff. It's called Pick It Up. So why don't you guys pick up that single, because I think it's important. It's really important. So yeah. Ziggy, get
What's
down.
your kitty's name?
Ziggy Stardust.
Ziggy wants
He's
to
a
be
rock star.
You can come sit with us. Oh my God, the fur is so nice.
Say hi, Zig Zigs.
Hi.
Say hello. Say, I just wanted to see what's going on. I see all these cameras. He's like, okay, all right, enough attention.
Gimme, 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 gimme one more day, 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 day. Just one more. Give me one more pretty summer. You got me going with the
That is a bittersweet conversation as well. I have not really had a lot of engagement with AI at this point. I mean, I just hear a lot about it. And I understand why people are fearful of it, because I know that it is going to take over a lot of people's livelihood and, you know, jobs and employment. But I know a lot of companies right now are fighting for to implement laws and things like that to protect people from completely losing everything.
Right.
So I'm all for that. I think that we have to embrace portions of it because it is new technology and things like that. But that, you know, it's just like when the internet was gonna boom, everybody was afraid because it was like, what is this? It's just fear of the unknown, right? You know, We're always fearful of things we don't really know too much about. Should we give AI a chance? Yes. Should we let it take over? No. And I think that's where we have to, like I said, put in laws and rules and have boundaries of where it can be used that is useful for us to grow, but not let it take over humanity and everything that we've created. And I it's so funny because I feel like I don't know if people are going to want to completely give in to AI, because I think people need the human connection, right?
Right.
Just like when they're talking about the movie industry, they're like, they're gonna replace people with this and that and this and there's gonna just be AI movies and it's like, who's gonna want to see that every day? I know I'm not. I want to see people. I want to see real human emotions and responses and reactions and all of that stuff. That's what I thrive off of. I love human connection. I love having conversations.
Right.
I love, like I was telling you earlier, I love watching people's process as they're creating and how they create and how they come to that point. So I think it would be rather boring if all we're watching is like an artificially generated image, and people, because that's not really, for me, that's not really art.
Why they do the waggle dance? They do the dance to get them to the flowering plant. They do the dance to help them build a nest. You mean a colony? Yes, a colony. And they're feeding each other and grooming each other, recruiting other bees so they can work together. And whoever does the waggle dance the best will get the other honeybees to the nest. It's called the waggle dance. Shake it to the sound. It's called the waggle dance. Move it all around. It's called the waggle dance. Come on and move your feet. It's called the waggle dance. Shake like honeybees. Waggle, 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 waggle. Waggle, 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 waggle.
How do you think with music and arts, everything we talked about, like how can we spread goodness? How can we unite people? And how can we stand strong against the artificial intelligence that's coming?
I think how we can unite people is just to keep having these conversations. Conversation and communication and connection is that's what it's all about, to cultivate any type of anything, really. So I feel like, having that connection, being open to things, but also working together and not being against each other, I think is a huge thing. In the music industry, movie and entertainment industry, I'd say, again, working together and trying to figure out what works best for everyone, and being mindful of what people are doing and what they're going through and all of that stuff and what people need. It's just as simple as that. Our needs. What do we need? How do we make that better? And just being open and watching out for one another, really, I think, and I think that goes to, really about, it's all about humanity, isn't it? Everything goes right back to just being human, humanity. And like the movie studios, like these actors and actresses, they work so hard for a career. We can't take that away. You know what I mean? And replace it with a robot and all these, artificial
and
images.
There's two things I want to say about that. I mean, ideally, we think laws and whatever is going to be able to keep AI under control. But if you remember Space Odyssey, there comes a point AI can't just overpass us. That they can't just not stop listening to humans and just overrule us. And that's a very possible reality that can happen. And the other thing is that's not being talked about much. Universal income is a must.
Yes.
Because AI will take a lot of people's jobs.
Yes.
What's going to happen to the working class?
Absolutely.
What's going to happen
That's
to all
true.
these people living paycheck to paycheck or freelancing, whatever? Like, once our jobs are done, how are we going to make a living? And no one's talking about universal income. The only person I remember talking about it was Bernie Sanders, which unfortunately...
There was also the other, I forgot his name, who's running, it's probably a few years ago, who was trying to implement what was it, $1,000 a month as a base
That's a
payment?
must. I
You
think
know,
it's
like
talking about humanity. I think it must be a human right for everyone to have basic
A
food
basic-
and shelter
yeah,
and
I agree.
education. Like we both live in LA, and we're the lucky ones, but we see every day passing by all these homeless people,
Yeah.
and it does break my heart. I think we need
Absolutely.
to think goodness for that. Let's
Well-
cut for a minute.
okay. I never imagined that birds could be so affectionate, and they're very smart. They're very intuitive. They communicate with you. I mean, they really do connect with you. And I never would have known this had we not had birds in our house. I'll tell you a quick little story. Just something tragic happened just a few weeks ago,
Oh.
actually. We normally would put our conures out in their cages to get fresh air and have a bit of sunlight every day. Unfortunately, a hawk came down and grabbed one of our birds and tried to kill Cherry. My bird's named Cherry. And basically crippled Cherry, broke one of the legs, punctured with his talons, and I mean, pretty much left Cherry for dead. So we had to take Cherry to the emergency room, the bird emergency room, and had to have a little bit of a surgery because the feather got stuck in the hole and everything, and had to have, you know, stitches and all that stuff. It took about a week for Cherry to recover. Like literally, we thought at any moment, because he just was not responding at all.
Oh, no.
All he wanted to do was we would pick him up and he would just lay on our chest or just lay on our lay down. He couldn't really balance himself. That week, I'd already known the type of affection that they give you because we've had them for 8 years, but this particularly was amazing because as he was recovered, he was literally communicating with us and just wanted to lay and rub and just something like a child. I've never ever seen a bird do that ever.
Our people, sharing our planet Earth. Together we can make it work. No matter where we come from, we are people.
You know,
Can I go meet?
Absolutely, you
Let's go
absolutely
meet
can.
little Birdie Cherry.
What we're gonna do is we're gonna bring Sunday around, and you guys, if you can just take one or
I take Cherry sometimes to play with the kids when I do story time or I do like a music circle when I sing with the kids, and the kids love because you know, I mean, how many times do you get a chance to actually hold the bird and you know fluff its feathers and you know all that stuff? Have a
Would it
bird
come
that's
to
nice.
mine?
Yeah.
Cherry, come to me. Uh-oh.
You want to go? He's like, no, that's okay.
Want to show us around a little bit?
Yes, absolutely. Come on, Cherry, up here.
Come with us. You have this here and this there.
Well, a lot of the art that we collect, like this is our friend Tom Everhart. He's the only one allowed to do anything Snoopy related.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
I just see the Snoopy now.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
So he's a really dear friend of ours, and you know we've actually hosted a lot of his gallery events here as well. After his galleries, like parties and things. So we love artists. I love discovering new
What is
artists.
that doll? Does it have a story over there? That little doll?
Well, that's Pinocchio. These little wooden pieces are actually from Kenya, from Masai Mara, and we took the kids there to visit the Maasai tribe, and we spent a lot of time there. I actually was able to shoot part of my video for one of my kids' songs in Kenya.
Oh, nice.
It's called "We're All the Same."
We might have different colored eyes, but we are all the same. We might have different colored skin, but we are all the same. We might have different styles of hair, but we are all the same.
I
Grammy.
want that song.
Yes, we're all the same.
I love that.
And so I got a chance to actually have the Maasai people in the video, which is amazing.
We are people living on planet Earth. Together we can make it work. No matter what we look like, we are people. We are people living on planet Earth. Together we
Miles Davis.
Oh, wow.
So this was carved from a Parisian artist. We got this from the Paris flea market as well. They carved it and put it, like they made the art with the record.
Oh, nice.
So it's his actual record, which is amazing, made into his face.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Miles Davis.
yeah. We had a chance to go there to promote one of the movies that I was a part of called Brides of the Dead.
What did
We
you
actually,
do? Acted or?
I was acting in that movie, yes.
Nice.
And I have a tiny little part, not a huge part, but my daughter is actually the lead actress in the movie. And it's not come out yet. It's going to come out in like a year or two.
Oh, let me
It's
know.
still in post. But a lot of these little treasures from Egypt and just discovering the history of that culture is just extraordinary, you know? And then I love collecting pieces with different artists. Like Grace Jones is another one of my all-time favorites. Love Grace Jones. Anytime I can see her live, it's just incredible because she
Do you
puts
want
on
to
an
move over
amazing
there
show.
and show them to us?
Yeah.
I think it's going to be better if you like go climb up and show it.
And then this, of course, Mr.
See her
Jimi
too, Gary.
Hendrix.
See her to her.
Of course, Mr. Jimi Hendrix is just incredible. And this is just one of his shots live, actually here in California, which is amazing. So,
Great.
yeah. So,
And here,
oh, and this is a piece from the Paris flea market as well. This is a glass artist out of
do you
Paris.
see yourself in here? You should.
Beautiful.
Yeah. I use this actually. This is really good for shooting film and music videos. I did this in House Arrest where you shoot inside that little bubble
Yeah, it looks really
and it
cool.
reflect into the camera. It's really cool.
Oh, I love this.
Yeah.
Barry, you should come over here. Come, you'll see. No, please.
Let's wrap it. Come on.
Then give it to me. I got a really good angle here. Trust me. Come over here. You'll see. Come.
Well, you'll see me shooting it.
It's okay. Just go. Look from this angle. It's such a cool angle here. Look. You're gonna be credited anyway.
Can you see yourself in
I'm on the side.
that?
It looks so pretty from here. Like if you come to where I am, over there, you'll see such a nice angle. Like if you come a little closer, but be careful to this thing here.
Oh yeah, you get that angle. Yeah. Cherry, say hi.
Maybe here we should do. If you have a good angle, we should say searching for what was it?
I love games, so I'll play like my little
Oh, I see this. Too.
the little foosball.
Very cool.
We'll play everything.
Well, maybe let's
Alright, so,
wrap
okay.
it.
I don't really care what nobody says. It's all about just give it to the music, let him set you free into the music.
All right. Thank you for the little show and tell, and I love your little cherry.
Little cherry
Cherry's
says
here.
hello.
So, thank you so much for being a part of our show. We appreciate it.
Of course, I'm glad you invited me. It was fun.
Any last words before we?
I just say, you know what? Let's create goodness. Let's be goodness, and just cultivate goodness all around.
Amen. And we have a slogan. We end the show saying, "Goodness will win." 1, 2,
3.
Goodness will win.
This time Cherry jumped into it. All right, everyone. Thank you again. Wonderful to see you. And how can people follow you?
So you
Where
can
can
you can find me. I have a website, cherrymoon.com, and cherry is CHERI. Also, my Instagram is @cherrymoon, and my Twitter and Facebook is Cherry Moon Music. So,
Great. Wonderful. Thanks, everyone, for watching. Follow her and follow us.
Bye.
Things like clothes on our backs, food that we eat, or even just the air we breathe, right? Because without those things, we wouldn't even be here. But you know what I'm most grateful for right now? It's you.